What do you do when you go to Japan for 10 days? Too short, I know. Usually it's at least 2 weeks. But what do you do when you go there? Well, first of all, my brain immediately thinks, what physical games can I pick up when I'm over there? A couple cool things to mention. The box art, nowadays is mostly the same, but they have so many games there that you do not get. It's unreal, but unfortunately, a lot of those aren't translated. So I got to stick to the games that are released in the West, but also ensuring that I'm getting my hands on some physical copies of things that maybe we can't get here as easily accessible or at a decent price. Switch 2, we know the deal with that, the pricing situation here in Canada and the US. Switch 2 games over there after exchange actually worked out a little bit less, but I'm still not there yet with buying a Switch 2 game. There's no killer app, as they call them, that would justify my money going to a Switch 2 game. So I went Switch 1 wild on these things, and I got a few pickups that I'm looking forward to sharing with you all right now. Afterwards, I'm going to show you some other cool stuff I picked up, just some snacks, some treats, some things that make me happy to bring back every time I go to Japan. This would actually mark number 8 for me since 2018. So COVID, think about that, 3 years of not traveling. So let's make it 5 years, 8 times in 5 years, technically, of actual travel time. I'm fortunate to be able to do that, but it's always been on flight deal times, or I'm thankful for things like Zip Air that have pretty good prices on fares. And also accommodations are pretty cheap out there when you know where to look. And also eating is not expensive either. So I always tell people I could fly to Toronto and spend more than I would do to fly to Japan and enjoy 2 weeks of just travel around. So think about that. It's not so much a privilege thing. It's just that you got to know what you're spending your money on and how you're doing it. Go smart. You're going to have a great time. If you haven't been to Japan, if you're able to travel, if you're able to carve out some time, you got to go at some point. I don't care what anyone says. Also, go alone if you can the first time. Not because you're going to be doing anything weird. Just go alone and get lost. I can't stress that enough. If you have any sort of social anxiety, Japan's the place to be. The people are fantastic. They're helpful. You don't have to communicate with them if you don't want to. You can go to bars where you don't actually interact with anybody at all. You just go there, explore, get lost, and come back with memories that will last you a lifetime. And I won't go on. If you want to hear more about my thoughts on Japan and why I love it so much and why I go so often, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to share it with you one day in a story time video format maybe. But until then, let's get into what I picked up when I was in Japan. I did a post about this, but I want to talk about it. So first things first, I don't know if you're familiar with this. Actually, first things first, I'm running on about 0 gas tank right now. 28 hours I've been awake. I'm tired. I'm on my 5th wave right now. I can't sleep on planes. Let me know, can you sleep on planes? I can't sleep in planes, trains, cars, even with melatonin, even if I sneak a little sneaky sleeping pill, even with alcohol. And I don't drink. I do drink when I'm in Japan because you gotta, but I don't drink. And nothing gets me to sleep on a plane. And you add sick people to the mix. If you're sick and you're flying, stuffy nose, sneezing, coughing, just reschedule your flight. Don't piss everyone off on the plane. I'm gonna go on a tangent. Let's get into the games. Okay, so first things first, I was curious about this one because it's not my type of game typically, and I don't know why I picked it up. I just thought it seems interesting. I like the idea of numbers go up. Disgaea is probably the reason of that. I love games where you just seem to go up from doing stuff. And so, it was a reasonable price. It worked out to about $55 Canadian for Fantasy Life. Check that out, Fantasy Life. I don't know anything about the series. All I know is that you just have jobs, you do quests, you do tasks, your numbers go up, your level goes up, and you're just in a loop of leveling your characters, which to me, on certain days when I just don't know what else to do, you get into that loop at home of going through, it's like the Netflix effect where you're just browsing games and movies, you don't know what to watch, so you spend more time in the titles than you do on the actual game itself. But I stuck a couple of hours into this one, and it seems like a good time killer. colorful graphics, very Nintendo feeling. We'll see how far I can get into it. I know that my buddy over there at Happy Console Gamer, I know that Kim loves this game, and I thought, well, if she can put that kind of time into it, maybe I can do at least a fraction of that. So Fantasy Life, $55 Canadian, used, not bad. The next game that I purchased was a recommendation from one of my wonderful subscribers, Bayonetta. Let's take a look at the backside. Her backside, no, let's take a look at the backside of that. I love kanji and hiragana and katakana and all that stuff. So it's a game I've always been kind of curious about. It's always been interesting. Kazuma Kaneko did the art for Bayonetta, the character, and she looks great. Except she's a little bit on the masculine side with the proportion. She's got some broad shoulders. They're a little bit distracting, but each to their own. And each to their own, all right? And if you're into that, it's fine. It's just a little distracting when it looks like Leon Kennedy body doing some real tough things. I'm going off on a tangent. Great game. I put quite a number of hours into that. I loved it, and I'm going to be putting a whole bunch more into it. Fun game, Devil May Cry-esque. In fact, Jean, I think is the name of the character. She's got this red suit. It looks just like Dante in a way. I'm like, is this a reference to Devil May Cry, or is that just a coincidence? Regardless, gameplay is fun. Snappy controls. Cameras always throw me off in these types of games. It's always really responsive when you move the camera around, and so sometimes it's not for me, but the combat's fun so far. So enjoyable. I like it. I'm going to be playing a whole bunch more of that. Now, moving on to number 3. Back in the 90s and the early 2000s, I used to go into record stores, HMV or A&B Sound or any number of things, and I would see a metal album or a rock album cover, and I would say, that'd be cool. Hell yeah, I'm going to buy this, and I haven't even heard a single lick off that album. And I kind of got the same feeling over the next game that I picked up because I'd never heard of it before, which is one of the things I love about Switch. There's a lot of games that you just don't really hear about, and when you pick them up, they're kind of like little hidden gems. So this one, the next one, is called Faith, and this one is really cool too. Let's take a look at the back side of that. It's nice looking 8-bit graphics. There's some cool animations in here as well. It's survival horror and I really miss not having instruction manuals in these games anymore. I think this would have been a cool game to have that on. But regardless, survival horror. Looks like it's got some gore, some guts, and some scary stuff in it too, which I'm always a fan of, and we need more of that in our games. So Faith, if you haven't heard of it, it's from New Blood, Airdorf Games. Check it out. I played it for about 20 minutes on the plane because I was trying to sleep as well, unsuccessful. But check it out. I'm going to be doing an update on this one soon because it was interesting enough to want to go back to. I'm really happy I picked this one up. About $15 Canadian I got that for. So let's put you right there, buddy. Next, we have the one, the only Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. I played this on Game Pass on the Xbox, but I always said if I could get a physical copy of it, I'm going to do that. And I can never seem to find it in the stores here. So I picked it up, and it's a beautiful visual novel. I haven't spoiled the story for myself yet, and I'm not going to. So I'm not going to spoil it for you too. But those who know, and I know it gets a little bit dark. So I'm looking forward to that. From what I have played so far into the game, I'm only in the first act. I can already tell that some of these characters I'm going to be a little bit attached to I already know some of these characters I'm going to be a little bit attached to just based on the interactions and the story. The girls are sweet personalities, and I know some stuff goes down in that game. So I can totally understand why, some of my subs who saw my post said, just get ready for it because it goes down a bit of a path. And I can totally understand just from the story so far how that might be, a tough one to get through from what I understand. So regardless, I'm looking forward to it. I really love visual novel games. So let's get into the last one. And this was also a recommendation from my sub, Ghost Trick. I've heard a lot about this game. Puzzle game. It's kind of like visual novel-esque as well in its delivery. And I'm sorry I'm using my coffee container here as a prop, but I'm running out of space. But Ghost Trick is a really cool puzzle game too. You're a ghost, you just died, and your soul has these abilities to manipulate the world around you. And in very cool ways. So you could, someone's in danger. So you find your way to an object that would maybe get rid of the danger that this person's in. You try and get them to lure them away to hide somewhere so that you can, they can hide away from the danger. I've only gotten level 2 for the second mission, I guess, but it's intriguing. I love the presentation and seeing their, RE engine on this game for Capcom. I was like, wow, Resident Evil, super realistic looking graphics, game engine, adapted something like this, which is very cartoony and light-hearted sort of atmosphere or visual design. I think it's amazing. And I'm kind of addicted to that gameplay style too. So I gotta say, so far, all of these games, fantastic picks. I've played a little bit of each of them, and not one of them did I say, damn, I wasted my money buying that. So if I were to leave anything with you on this, it's sometimes you got to take a risk, especially with a game like Faith here. It doesn't look appealing to some people, but the gameplay itself is pretty cool. So that's my thoughts on the games. These are my pickups. I do have other things I bought and just wanted to share with you this as well. I was torn. I had no space left in my luggage. I was at like a pound of weight left, and two of them would have put me over my limit. But I went to Don Quixote, if you're familiar with that store. Actually, I'll show you this sweater first of all. I love Showa era anime, old school anime, and they got this nice little sweater here. Look at that. Doesn't that give you the warm and fuzzies, the good feelings? The colors. You got little Don Quixote mascot here, but the anime character. I love old school anime design, and I just had to pick up this sweater. But I also got this nice little Dreamcast sweater from Don Quixote as well, with a nice little Dreamcast logo in the back too. Beautiful, my baby. I love the Sega Dreamcast so much. So many good memories with that system. I just had to pick that up. I wish I got the Sega Saturn one, but I just didn't have space for it. But can you believe this? This was only about, I think it was $20. You buy something like this here in the States or in Canada, it's like $50. They just gouge you. And one more thing, if you do go to Japan, avoid Akiba. Yeah, just avoid it. It's too many foreigners. I'm a foreigner, so please bear with me when I say this, but it's just a tourist trap now. You don't get real Japan game hunting in Akiba anymore. It's overpriced. The people there are just a bunch of tourists bumping into each other, not respecting the area, not respecting the way of interacting in Japan, and it's not a good place to be. I dropped in there one time this trip. I thought, nah, I gotta go. I'll go elsewhere and find some little hidden gems where I can buy some games. So that's my thoughts for you on Akiba. Side note, I got Discord now, so if you haven't joined yet, join. I've got the link in the description. I've got me and Retro Adam and Tyler Belmont. And Sage of Time. She's another YouTuber that we've just created a little community there where all are welcome. Come on in. We got different channels for different YouTubers on there. We got different chat, music sharing, the lounge for discussion, you name it. It's a great place to hang out, so we'd love to see you there. And please, if you don't mind, like, subscribe, hit the bell, comment down below. I love to interact with all of you. And yeah, I'll be seeing you on the next one. So until then, peace be with you. Good to see you. See you next time.